Hi, this is Matt Pearlstein. We're talking about emotional intelligence again today, and this time I wanted to talk about the concept of emotional mastery, which is about feel it to heal it. And I'll go into more depth in that, obviously, but a lot of people try really hard not to feel, and I'm going to make a case for the fact that in order to heal our negative feelings, that it's actually a good idea to allow them for a little while and to allow yourself to feel. So here we go. So this is about self-mastery. It's about taking control of your inner world, what's inside of you. We have thoughts and we have feelings, and we're trying to be in charge of our own self, be in charge of our inner world, so that we can make our outer world look and feel as great as we can and as we want to. We are a left brain society, so I'll talk about that just a little bit. There's a left brain and right brain, and I'll show you some cool picture of that and how that works. There's a lot of effort going on now, and I'd like to describe how being able to add right brain thinking to our left brain education can make all the difference in the world. It's incredible that what's happening in that department. If you don't know about it, it's going out throughout the whole world, and it's working happily. It all starts with a thing I call emotional responsibility, which is about me taking responsibility for my thoughts and my feelings. Nobody makes me angry. I make me angry. In fact, my thoughts make me feel angry, and so if you can get in touch with that and take charge of what's going on inside of you, there's all kinds of things you can do with yourself. If you don't, yikes. So we'll get into that. So this is all within you. No matter what is happening outside, we have control of what happens inside, and that is a beautiful thing. That puts us in control of our life, and it allows us so many choices and so many options and so many things we can do to well, I'll get into it. Sorry, I get all excited. We do have control. We do have control. I'll go into some of the benefits of expressing our feelings, how to heal a little bit, and why to heal. And we have found through numerous studies, and I'm sure you've noticed probably in the past, is that a lot of people like to share what they're feeling, and there's some very scientific reasons for that, and there are some very good reasons for that, and I'll go through those. And then talk about what's possible and some things that you can do for yourself and for others to spread the word and to make these things happen. So off we go. So here's a picture of the left brain and the right brain. It's just one of my favorite pictures. It's pretty cool how it shows it. It's not quite this way, and it's not, I mean, your brain is two hemispheres split in half very, very distinctly, but the left brain, they overlap some, and some of it's in the center of your brain. The amygdala and the hippocampus and such are in the middle, but this shows it really clearly. It shows it's predominantly this way, and the left brain is mostly a logical, cognitive, knowledge-based, sequential processor. Boom, 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 boom. We like to have order. We like to have rules. We like to have information. That's all on the left side of our brain. On the right brain, on the other hand, is our feelings, our touch, our senses, our smell, our passion, our creativity, our more parallel processing. Things are happening all at the same time, and I just love this picture that shows it as very, very colorful as opposed to not so colorful. The problem is that our left brain, our society is mostly left brain. Our education system is mostly left brain. The testing that we do, especially in the United States, the standardized testing that's done in schools, is predominantly left brain. You'll notice that when budget cuts happen, and this has happened already lots of times, is that the first thing to go are the right brain stuff. Art, PE, band, music, all that stuff is all right brain. most of that's gone now, and it's because we only have enough to do the standardized testing, and that's where we're focused, which is cool. Okay, that we need left brain testing, and we're smart, and we're very good at that. As a society, we're doing some fantastic things in technology and in medical field and et cetera. That's a good thing. I'm saying let's add to it. We need to add to it our emotions. We need to add to it our connection with other people. We need to add to it our ability to understand and control and manage ourselves inside, which we don't learn in school. And so we're adding right brain to left brain, and adding our feelings to our thoughts. We're pretty good about our thoughts. We don't know squat about our feelings. So I'm suggesting that we improve on that. So many of the problems that have come because of people not knowing how to deal with their emotions are some things like, check out this list: violence, abuse, addictions, divorce, suicide, oh man, number 2, right, I just saw an article yesterday, number 2 most common form of dying for kids under 25 is suicide. What the heck, right? That's purely emotion-based, right? That's people not knowing how to deal with their emotions, right? And it's mostly guys. Unfortunately, it's mostly guys, and we're known for being less emotional and stuffing our feelings and being macho and that sort of thing. And it's a problem. It's a big, big problem. And it's because, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion now, because we don't learn about that stuff in school. For me personally, I went all the way through school, all the way through college, and I had no idea how to do any of this stuff. So teaching it and training kids and explaining people things like your thoughts and your feelings are yours. Most people don't even know that. It's a very simple thing. Your thoughts, your feelings, they're yours. You made them. You can change them if you don't like them. So that's a beautiful thing, but most people don't know that. You don't know how to deal with your fear, anxiety happenings. You don't know how to deal with your self-esteem, pick on somebody else. Bullying's happening big time. Depression is huge throughout the world. As you know, hatred is awful. Lots of mental health issues. A lot of crimes are based on people not knowing how to deal with their feelings. Gangs are all about feelings and about connection and about having some safety and having a family, a pseudo-family, etc. They're now finding study after study that physical health, if you don't deal with your feelings, your physical health is going to deteriorate, and there's direct connection between huge study at Kaiser showing that when trauma that's happened to people as a child directly related to huge negative physical ailments as an adult. Directly related. Ouch. So we can do something about that. That's what I want to talk about. And of course, the biggest one is war. War being strictly about feelings, mostly, or not knowing how to deal with them. So we can deal with this differently. We can create peace as a result of emotional education. Inner peace creates interpersonal peace, me and you. We create social peace, me and the family, me and the group, me and folks at work, right? Me and folks downtown. And then that is ultimately, hopefully, will create world peace. That's the objective. So this all starts with emotional responsibility, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. Every one of my thoughts and every one of my feelings, and especially every one of my behaviors, right? We have thoughts, we have feelings, we make decisions about those. Those are our inputs. We then make decisions, we evaluate them, and we decide what to do. We take some action, and that action is based on our thoughts and our feelings. If we don't know how our thoughts and feelings work, especially our feelings, we're missing a whole bunch of good information. You are making decisions based on your feelings, whether you like it or not. Even you guys, yes, you are. But if you don't know that, and you don't know how, and you don't know why, and you don't understand it, and feelings are a big mushy, gushy thing that happens, but don't really pay any attention to them, you're not dealing with all the information, and you are making decisions based on that, whether you like it or not. They may be current ones, they may be stuff from your childhood, we call belief systems, and but they are affecting you now. whether you like it or not. And so the conscious awareness and acceptance that that is happening will put you in control and makes positive actions that you can take. So basically, nobody makes me angry. I make me angry. My thoughts make me feel angry, and I can change my thoughts. I can make myself unangry anytime I want to without, it had nothing to do with you. That's not, you might have started with something I saw, but that was my thought about that, and now I'm feeling about that. I can change this, I can change that, and control me. That's what I want. Is I want to be able to control me. So anytime I want to. A lot of this happens inside of us. The key is this very little, sometimes it's a split second. Sometimes there's the biggest EQ trainer in the world is called 6 seconds. That's how long it takes for a big feeling to come up, and it processes through your system, and it jumps into your brain, and it goes through the synapses, and you decide what you're going to do. And if you wait 6 seconds, like counting to 10, it kind of calm down, and the chemicals settle down a little bit. But it's that place in between. So Viktor Frankl said, between the stimulus and your response, right? Something happens and you respond to it, there's a space. And in that space is our power to choose our responses. That's the key. Choose. We get to choose. We get to be in charge. We get to be in control. We get to choose our responses. And in our responses lies our growth and our freedom. Our freedom. So freedom's a wonderful thing. One of my favorites. Basically, how it happens is stuff happens, all right? So we have control. Here's these 10 steps that I came up with. So stuff happens outside, right? It just happens. Life happens. You do get out of bed, and then therefore stuff happens, right? That's outside. Maybe it's even inside, but things happen, right? There's a bumper sticker about that. Stuff happens. Then immediately we go to inside. And we have thoughts about what happened. We have feelings about what happened. Those are going to happen anyway. Those are happening. Whether you like it or not, they are happening. So those are non-optional, I call them, all right? Where it begins to be optional and where EQ is and where the magic of this whole thing is in that little space I was just talking about, and that is where you become aware of your thoughts. You go, yes, I thought that, and I felt that. Both become aware of that, and another split second later, I accept that. You can say, ooh, that makes me angry. Oh, no, it doesn't, and deny it. You can lie to yourself about it. You can go, I'm not feeling that. I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to go gambling or whatever. I'm going to go get something to eat or whatever, and I can deny all that if I want to, but if you can be aware of your thoughts and your feelings and accept them, then you can evaluate them, you can make good decisions on them, and then take good actions where you're in charge. You're being able to evaluate and to make conscious decisions, and make better decisions, more connected decisions, more loving decisions, more powerful decisions, more results-based decisions, if we are willing to at least acknowledge and accept the input, which is our thoughts and our feelings. So it's oversimplified, but it really is how that happens. A bunch of our actions, like if I raise my hand, that's an action. But if I consistently raise my hand and I ask lots of questions and that sort of thing, that becomes what we call a behavior, which is a set of actions. And our behaviors over time are what gets us results. We either have friends or we don't. We have family close to us or we don't. We have physical illnesses or we don't. We have a good job, we make good money, whatever, or we don't, right? Those things are all based on our thoughts and our feelings if you boil it all down. And so that's why I'm saying let's pay attention to where this all starts, the source of the whole thing, so that we can get better results in our lives. Pretty cool, huh? Some of these basic concepts, I'll just buzz through these. So every behavior is based on at least one thought and at least one feeling. At least one, and you can have many at the same time, and it gets confusing sometimes. And Again, awareness of those and acceptance of those is the key. And we can then make conscious decisions on what's happening. Some little hashtags: feel it to heal it. I'll get into that in a minute. Emotional responsibility, definitely. Happiness is a choice. Feelings matter. Spin it to win it. What that means is I have a thought, and it's, you just son of a gun, and now I'm feeling anger, and I'm like, wait, hang on. I can change that thought. I can spin it gently to go, you know what, maybe you didn't even see me. Maybe you pulled out in front and you didn't even see me. Maybe you're having a hard day. Maybe there's something going on for you that you were not aware of, and maybe I don't have to get all mad at you. Maybe I can be a little more compassionate, a little more understanding, and if I understand that and I can change my thoughts about that, then I automatically relax, and I can change my thoughts and my feelings, and it changes everything. So I call it spin it to win it. Another good one is name it to tame it. So I'm like, for example, I'm feeling angry at you, and you son of a gun, you cut me off, right? Well, the thing is that the real feeling underneath that is fear, because not necessarily anger. If you think it's anger, you're going to deal with anger, and you're going to go and do your road rage thing and start screaming and flip the guy off and cut him off back and blah, 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 blah. Or you can go, whoa, right before I got pissed off, I actually went, whoa, like that. And so that is fear-based. And fear is, you can handle it a whole different way because you named it properly, because you identified it. Another thing that lack of emotional intelligence education has caused is that we don't even know what the heck we're feeling. We don't even know. We don't know what they're called. We don't know how to name them. But if we can learn, we can do something with it. We can do a lot more with it. So some basic concepts, simple things. I try to put it in cute ways so you can remember it, but name it to tame it is a good way to do it, because you just say, I feel like crap today. Well, more specifically, I'm tired, I'm sad about this, I'm afraid about that, I'm angry about this. I'm like, okay, so I can deal with each of those things if I can name them, if I can break them down. But if you just, I feel terrible, I'm in a bad mood. What's a mood? What is a mood? There's no real such thing. It's actually a bunch of feelings together, and if you can identify them and break them down further, then you can do something with them. Some of the benefits of expressing this is about feel it to heal it in particular. So one of the things is that we teach, been teaching this for 30 plus years, and what we found is that if people can understand, can deal with their own deep feelings, then you can. You don't have to be afraid of your own self anymore. You know that you can deal with things. It gives you a self-confidence. It gives you hope. It gives you self-esteem, etc. I don't want to ruin my list here, but it gives you, that you can, and that's a beautiful thing, as opposed to when stuff happens inside of you and you're like, oh my, and what do I do with this? And I don't know, and I'm feeling this and that and the other, etc. So it gives you courage. You're no longer, like I said, you're no longer afraid of your own self, of your own feelings and your own thoughts, because you can deal with them. You don't have to be afraid of your own self. That's a terrible feeling. I used to feel that a lot before I understood what was going on with me. I thought I was a sick puppy. I thought there was all kind of things wrong with me, diagnosable mental illnesses, and I found out that actually reality is didn't have a clue how to deal with my feelings. Didn't know what they were. I talked to my dad about that not too long ago, and he was Air Force colonel, and I said, how come you didn't teach us about any of this stuff? He said, I wouldn't know a feeling if it jumped up and slapped me upside my head. So he was never taught. His dad, he learned from his dad, who was a tough New York lawyer and mafia and all that, and they didn't talk about feelings. Like, what? So now that I talk about it all the time, they think I'm nuts, but that's okay. But I'm no longer afraid of my own feelings. I can deal with any of them. I love that feeling about a feeling. Dr. Susan David talks about emotional agility. So, okay, I can move. I can dodge. I can, people can attack me and I can let it fly by. I can, somebody can cut out in front of me and I can go. Guy who probably wasn't paying attention, and and then go on, and I don't have to get all right. I've seen people where I saw someone down at the beach the other day on a holiday, on a vacation holiday, and somebody pulled out in front of him, and he was so pissed off about that. Somebody pulled up in front of him and screaming and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, you're on holiday. What did it cost you? 1/100th of a second that you had to slow down a little bit, and then you could go. And come on, that's not agility. That's being stuck, and that's not being in control of yourself and your emotions. Terrible feeling. Some of the most positive emotional intelligence skills are resilience. So you can, when stuff happens to you, bad stuff, even horrible things outside of you. I have cancer right now, and I could get really upset about it. I could get really mad about it, and I could get really afraid, big time afraid, and I am. But I am also okay. All right, all right. Acceptance, and how do I be resilient about this? How do I keep going even though? How do I come out stronger instead of weaker? Right. Resilience is a beautiful thing. Persistence is another one. Persistence, I've gotten a lot of things in my life because of being persistent and nothing else. I just keep doing it. I just keep doing it because I can get myself to do things even when I don't want to. And a very cool concept called grit, which is just, yeah, it's hard, and that stinks. Yeah, and do it anyway. And all right, yeah, okay. Or I could go, oh, that's too hard. Oh, I can't. Oh, goodness, poor me, right? Those are some choices. But positive psychology, which you can now get your master's and PhD in University of Pennsylvania, it's a worldwide phenomenon, is be positive psychology. You consciously be positive. You can choose to be negative. You can choose to be positive. Take your pick. Be positive on purpose, according to them and me. So we have belief systems from our childhood about who we are, how we fit into the world or not fit into the world. Are we lovable? Are we somebody that people take care of? Are we somebody that people want to be around? That kind of thing. And when our pain and trauma and stuff from childhood, are we safe? That sort of thing. It sometimes creates a belief system inside that we're not even aware of, but we're busy living on it even today as an adult. And if you can dig into that stuff, you can resolve some of those and notice those thoughts that you're having, and notice those big feelings that are a result of those, and be able to move some of that out of the way. You have to deal with your thoughts about what happened in trauma. You have to deal with your feelings about what happened in the trauma. But once you put them both together and you can combine those two, you can do some pretty amazing things and heal yourself. So feelings are a very critical part of all of that. Connection, that's a big one. Connection. When we get hurt and we get pain and trauma happens to us, or we get angry, or people mistreat us and stuff, we withdraw, we disconnect. And sometimes if we're feeling bad about ourselves, we'll disconnect from ourselves, from our own self. And that's a horrible feeling. That's a very alone feeling. It's a very separate and apart, and that's something that we doing all by ourselves. So if we can resolve some of the pain inside of us, we can then reconnect. We can reconnect inside. We can reconnect this way, and we can reconnect this way, and we can reconnect this way. And that's what creates community and hopefully world peace someday. But aloneness and apartness, and I read, 800,000 people commit suicide every year. 800,000 people. Unbelievable. And you probably number one thing that you would hear people say is, I didn't have anybody to talk to, or I felt totally alone and apart, and it was just me. And that's a terrible feeling, and it's not even really true, because there's so many people, and so there's ways to connect and there's ways to reach out. But if you're covered with pain and your heart's all jammed up and covered up and dark, you're you're hiding, you're in here, and that's no fun, and it doesn't work, and don't recommend it. And there's ways to get out of that, and that's to be able to feel the pain that you have, even for a minute, so that you can move it out of the way and get back to loving. Let it flow, and then let it go. So you can get into the deep negative feelings, and then once you had them and they take place, Doc says, feelings expressed as intensely as they are felt. You don't have to have anybody around. You can just imagine it. You can just feel it. I am angry. I'm sad. I'm scared. And those things, if you can be responsible, remember that, emotional responsibility, and then deal with some of that, then you can, it takes place and it is free to change. They will reduce in intensity and are free to change. This Doc is one of my main mentors for years and years. He's a therapist in Fresno, California, that we worked with for 20 plus years, and he has some beautiful, really simple sayings that kind of sum things up like that. Feelings aren't good or bad, they just are. Right? We go, oh, that's a bad feeling, and this is a good feeling. Well, it might feel kind of yucky, and that one might feel kind of good, but really they're all information that we are getting. They're all information, they're all valuable, and we need to know about them. So really feelings are a good thing, not a bad thing, even though they may feel bad for a moment or whatever. So we can let them go, the ones we don't want, that aren't working for us. Understanding. Before I started doing this work, I didn't understand. I have no idea why I did what I did. A lot of times I'm just like, wow, really? Why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why I don't get me, and I don't get other people. I don't get them. But once I understand that it's about their thoughts and feelings, you start to go, oh, I see why I did what I did. I see what was going on behind that. I see my thoughts and my pain probably that was behind it, and I don't think I'm going to do that again. And that's what gives me control. Understanding what's happening inside is a beautiful thing. Self-esteem. Know who you are. Know your feelings tell you what you care about. Your feelings tell you what matters to you. Feelings tell you who you are and what you're here for and what you're about. And once you can get in touch with those, it's very illuminating, very much so. And so it helps your self-esteem, and it helps your ability to be with other people. Another thing is acceptance. A lot of people are like, that's not okay, and this is not okay, and this is terrible, and this stinks, and blah, 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 and all this is not okay, not okay, not okay. Unacceptance. The other option is to accept. Okay, yes, that is how it is. Wayne Dyer used to say, it is how it is, exactly as it is. If you can take that, that's a number one. He said that was a number one skill of a personal growth. He is accepting what is exactly as it is. So try it. And it's accepting yourself. Yes, I might not like this feeling. I might not like this thought. But, yeah, I had it. And I can change it. So, and then, as I said, your heart gets all glommed up. And your heart gets all covered with pain. And it gets all dark and gloomy in there. And that's no fun. But you can move some of that stuff by feeling it. So love can come from all of this. So why do we share our feelings? I was reading a really good study on this. After an emotional episode, there are benefits to sharing our feelings, and that has to do with, first, again, awareness. Second, acceptance, like I mentioned. And third is the action is to let them out of me. So which is feel it to heal it. So I don't have to say, you did this and you son of a gun, and that I don't have to do it on that person, right? I don't have to do it. I don't have to road rage and go find the guy and scream at him. I don't have to, because I can see that what happened is now my problem. It's my responsibility. It's my problem because they're my thoughts and they're my feelings that I'm left with. What am I going to do with those? So the person can be completely out of the picture now, and now I'm stuck with my feelings. What am I going to do with them? So I can do things with them. One of the things is venting. Complaining I should put venting versus complaining. Complaining is when you're, and that guy did this to me, victim, whiner, blamer, complaining, and usually when we complain, especially with other people, they both feel bad. You might feel bad about the same thing, which is kind of cool connection, but you both feel bad afterward. But if you vent, that's a different story. It's a whole different story. Venting is heading downward, while venting is like, I'm angry about this, and I don't want to be angry about this anymore, and I'm gonna release the anger from inside of me, or the pain, or the fear, whatever it is, and then, all right. So I can do that for myself without anybody around, without the person ever knowing. Venting's a beautiful thing. Complaining is not so beautiful. So we can get help. We can get some support from other people. We can get some comfort. We can get some attention. We can get legitimized. So somebody can go, yeah, wow. Their empathy to you. They could say, yeah, I felt that too. That kind of thing. It makes you feel legitimate. It makes you feel equal. It makes you feel connected. It's a beautiful thing. You can describe what happened and get some clarification on that from other people. It's a meaning. We put meanings. The dictionary has definitions of words, right? Like somebody cut you off. That's a definition is, almost an accident. But what that means to me, what that means is my interpretation of it, right? They don't have meanings in the dictionary. They have definitions. And so if I tell somebody, I'm so upset because he did it, and the other person's like, well, actually maybe they were having a bad time, that kind of thing. You can get some clarification and go like, oh yeah, you might be right. And so you can adjust things a little bit and look at their meanings about it, not just yours. We can ask for advice. We can get feedback from other people. They may see things differently than you do. We can bond with other people, which is another very important thing. We can have empathy for ourselves. We can have empathy for others. People can have empathy for us. Empathy is number one EQ skill. Highly recommend it. And sometimes we just need some attention, and we need someone to listen to us, and we need someone to be there. And so being able to share our feelings with others, not our negative judgments necessarily, but our actual feelings, then people can be there for us and give us the attention that we need. And sometimes our feelings are kind of entertaining. So, sometimes their positive feelings are a lot of fun to be around. So, bottom line to the whole thing is, if you can handle your fear, your anger, and your sadness, fear, anger, sadness, the three biggies, then there just isn't life that much that life can throw at us that we cannot handle. That is a good feeling. So, my little thing is EQ rocks. EQ rocks. EQ is super important. It's happening worldwide. It's very important. And what we can do, we start this movement called Each One Teach One EQ, and that's about if you know some about your emotions and you know what I just told you, share it with somebody else. Anybody else. Share it with somebody else. Anybody. It can be a little kid. It can be your mom. It can be Joe at the bank. It can be somebody at work. It doesn't make any difference. Share some about how this works so we can spread it around and get the world going in the right direction, because people don't know how to deal with their own selves. I'm now involved in a big project to put EQ education in schools. The left brain centered society is not working all that great. We're adding right brain education, actual emotional intelligence classes and parts of classes, and integrating it into the regular curriculum, so that kids and teens and adults and everybody eventually will be able to understand themselves better. And I think we're going to have a much better world because of it. And love really is the answer, and peace is the point of all of this. This is the new company, EQ4Peace.org. We're teaching the world EQ. We're basically whatever we can do to help either formal education or informal. It can be public or private. It can be at work. It could be at home. It could be at school. It doesn't matter. We're creating ways that did you know there's only like 200 countries in the world, and we're already working with like 10 of them. And so we're going to have people that are case managers for different countries and different continents, and be able to go in and say, how can I help you guys create more emotional intelligence education in your environment at any level from preschool up to university level, doesn't matter. How can we help? And so far it's going very, very well. So here's some links that if you like. The EQ Dude New Directions Workshop is what the class that we've been teaching on Facebook. They're on Facebook. The folks that we're working with in Nepal and India and Bangladesh and UK and such are called World Without Anger. They're trying to teach the kids that you actually don't have to feel anger ever, which is pretty neat. It's totally optional. And because we created, we're born with two fears, fear of falling and fear of loud noises. All the rest of our fears and every one of our angers, we're not usually born with any anger at all. So anything we're angry about, we learned, which means we can unlearn it, and that gives us control again. And that's a wonderful thing, but people don't think they have that control. Oh, no, I'm angry. I can't do anything about it. Well, yeah, you can. You made yourself that way. So anyway, so EQ4Peace.org, go check it out. I just did it the other day. And here's my phone and email and all that good stuff, and mattperlstein.com. So, feel it to heal it. Let yourself feel, understand your thoughts and your feelings. Awareness, acceptance, action. So be aware, accept them, take some good, clean actions because of it. Wise actions. Thank you.